Welcome to Wrestling with Fitness, a monthly accountability podcast hosted by Shotgun Wrestling Radio's Zach Takis and the Wizard CZ of Card Subject to Change. Fitness-minded guests from the world of indie wrestling. Now let's head into the studio with Zach and CZ.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of Wrestling with Fitness. We are here in the Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles digital studio. I am the Wizard CZ, and of course, we are sponsored by Lopez Pizza and the Card Subject to Change family of podcasts here. I can't do this show alone, so of course, I have to bring in my co-host and accountability partner, Mr. Zach, the Undertakis Takis. Zach, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, my friend. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain. It's been a good week. I feel like I'm getting back into the groove of things, so that's good. But yeah, I'm excited. We got a guy who's doing his first podcast today, and he's a first guest for us. So I love both of those elements. Welcome into the studio, Mr. Jack Reaper. Jack, I know you personally from SCWPro. I follow you on Instagram. Jack, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get too into this.
Man, I'm a big fitness fan. Obviously, I'm on this podcast. I started pro wrestling. I did Black and Brave in 2024 over the summer. Amateur wrestled since high school, big into martial arts. I just really wanted to come on the podcast and talk wrestling and fitness with you guys.
We appreciate that. Welcome to the show. You mentioned being a big fitness fan. I'm just going to jump right into it. You know, you recently posted that you earned your yellow belt in judo. I want to talk about that first and foremost, because I've never done any type of martial arts. First of all, what was it like being awarded the yellow belt, and talk about what judo entails for those who don't know?
Well, it felt really cool. It's my first martial art I've done with a belt system. It's been Muay Thai, boxing, amateur wrestling, and those don't have any belts. But judo is a grappling martial art. There's no striking, no punching or kicking or anything like that. It's somewhat similar to jiu-jitsu with the ground submissions, but and then like somewhat wrestling with the upper body ties, but you can't grab the legs while you're on the feet anymore. They changed that rule, but it's what created jiu-jitsu really. Judo was before jiu-jitsu, and they kind of branched off of that. But yeah, grappling art, no striking involved whatsoever, but it's super fun, a great time.
Man, that sounds like it. So kind of gives you a little more for your in-ring presence as far as wrestling goes, with the throwing people around a little bit, right?
Yes.
You mentioned having a background in amateur wrestling. Talk about what got you into wrestling on the amateur level, and then a little bit about what got you into wrestling on the professional level.
Okay, so amateur wrestling started. I took a lifting class my first semester of high school, my freshman year, and the teacher for that was the head coach of the wrestling team at the time. And you know, he was on me. He's like, he wanted me to join. I guess he saw potential, but talked to my mom at conferences that year, and then the day of is when I decided to actually go out. And funny, a lot of things could have been different. I wrestled 2 days, and I had self-sabotaged a little bit and convinced myself to quit for a day, and then I was back on Thursday. So it's been a huge part of my life since then. All 4 years of high school, 2 years at a community college at Indian Hills down in Centerville, Iowa. And then as for professional wrestling, SCW came to Dubuque here at some building I don't even think exists anymore. And me and my dad had recently gotten back into wrestling within the last few years. So we went and checked it out, and we were surprised. Like, we didn't know anything about independent wrestling. We had no idea what to expect or anything like that. And the guy that caught our eye at the same time was Dion Roosman, right?
Okay.
Huge fan. Like, when people ask my favorite wrestler to this day, I tell them Dion. Like, I'm like, He's an independent wrestler. You might not know him, but Dion Roostman's my guy. Met him at the second show and just like started like almost like a tradition. Every show we saw him at, almost I took a selfie with him, and then found out about Black and Brave, and like 4 years later, I think it was 4 or 5 years later. No, 6 years later probably. I'd signed up and I got in. So.
How long for you was the wait list? Because I know they can have a pretty hefty wait list to get into Black and Brave.
Mine was about 2 years, almost exactly. I think I signed up in June of 2022, and my class started in May of 24. So
now, after you signed up, obviously with that 2-year wait period, did they tell you like to do anything until you went to the school, or was that just a mindset that you had, like, hey, I should probably stay in shape or get into even better shape if I'm gonna pursue this?
No, they didn't really tell us anything. Most of the information was kept on the down low. I was kind of blind going into it, but it worked out for me because my lifestyle is just fit, but I also had another year of college wrestling left, so I was, still training super hard. And the year leading up to it, I got into running real big too, and my conditioning's just been a huge part, especially in my training the last couple of years. So I was in shape and ready to go right away.
Talk about your training a little bit. What does your routine look like?
It's pretty simple. It might not make sense to a lot of people because I just kind of do stuff that I enjoy, that feels good to me, and I'm going to stay consistent at. Huge part of that's running. I signed up for a 5K in 2023, and that's when I started running, and it's just been honestly a huge part of my life since then. And I'll be on and off with weightlifting. Body weight, it's a mix of like body weight and then like some of the weirder lifts like Zercher squats and Zercher deadlifts or something. It's mainly really transitioned out of like the traditional weightlifting and more of stuff to keep like my lower back healthy. I've had a lot of lower back problems over the years, just stuff that's nagging me. So a lot of that's, centered around my posterior chain, my hips, like all that stuff. And recently it's been my shoulders. Since January, I've been boxing pretty heavily, and it started to affect my shoulders a little bit too. So it's a lot of stuff just to keep healthy and a little bit of strength, but it's mainly cardio is the big bulk of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, for you, as far as like your workout routine, like for you, what do you like? Like, what's your favorite time to actually, get a workout in? I know some people prefer mornings, some people prefer afternoons, some people prefer evenings. I used to be an evening guy until I started getting up in the mornings and going in the mornings. And I love going in the mornings because it's not as busy and you don't have as much stupid people at the gym. If you know what I mean, like you always see, especially in the summertime. So I go to Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness does a summertime thing where they can allow high school kids to work out for free during the summertime. And their kind of peak hours are like afternoon and evening. And it's like, yep. So I started going in the mornings last fall, and yeah, it's been much smoother. And I don't feel like you're fighting to get equipment either, just because it's the crowd size isn't as heavy, and everybody's that's there in the morning is pretty much on the older side of things.
Yeah, I'm a big morning workout guy myself. I find if I wait until later in the day, I've already ate whatever food I'm going to, and I'm just like, I just want to go to sleep at that point. And then like, especially in the summertime, if I'm running like mid-afternoon, like it's super hot, I'm like, damn, it's going to be a hot one. This will suck. But now with my new job, I get off at 3:30 in the afternoon. So I don't have a choice anymore, but Fridays I can get it in early because I have Fridays off. I work 4/10s. But martial arts is always at night. There's never really been anything around here that runs in the morning that's worked out for me, but that's inside, so it's no big deal. But yeah, if I had it my way all the time, it would be morning for sure.
See, for me, it's whenever I can get it in. Yeah. A lot of mornings I will wake up, I'll see 6 o'clock, and I'll be like, hell no. So I usually will do.
So Chris, are you telling me I need to text your ass when I'm at the gym at 6 o'clock? So you
no,
get your ass out of bed?
No, thank you.
I will.
My phone will be on sleep mode, as will my watch, so you'll have a hard time getting through.
All right, I'll just keep texting and texting
No, but,
and texting. You'll wake up and you'll have 20-something text messages.
No, I've been doing my DDPY routine after work for the most part. I've really just started getting back. I've been pretty lax for the last couple of months, which we've talked about. Zach knows where I've been. You guys know where I've been, but I've been pretty consistent for almost a week now. This morning, though, I woke up and it was 5:45 and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I'm like, all right, to hell with it. I took a 25-minute walk. I did 20 minutes of DDPY. I didn't do a strenuous workout this morning, just more stretching because I've been running pretty ragged the last couple of days on heavy workouts, but I feel pretty good. You know, I'm tired being up at 5:45. So, but I feel good about where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you said stretching because, you know, like recovery is such an overlooked part. I feel like it was for me up until like really the last year or two, hearing different stories about people when they start to get older and like they can't even touch their knees or nothing like that. I'm like, man, so I started stretching after every run. I got my foam roller, I got my right, lacrosse balls, just all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad you said stretching because I think recovery is just as important as the actual workout itself.
And that's one thing that the DDPY people, you know, focus on is having like an active recovery day. You don't have to go balls to the wall every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I did a routine in the chair this morning, and like I said, it was mostly just stretching. There was a little dynamic resistance mixed in there, but mostly just getting the joints moving a little bit. But it was what I needed today because, like I said, I've been running pretty hard since Friday. So, not that that's a bad thing. One thing we've talked about this extensively here is my biggest problem is nutrition and food. I have a very unhealthy relationship with food. Talk about what your nutrition regimen is like. What your food regimen is like.
Man, not overly complicated or fancy. I don't track calories or macros or none of the stuff people tell you to track. I've been at it a while that I know what sits right in my body, what I can perform on, even if it's not like the standard, like, oh, you should eat this. I know what feels good because everybody's different. I know what feels good in my body and that I can perform on. And I used to fast a lot. I don't really fast anymore. I don't like eating first thing in the morning, but I usually just wait until my workout's over. Besides, now that I have this different job, I will eat lunch before I can get a workout in. But is you just got to know your body. Me personally, like I don't track anything, but like I said, I know what feels good and what I can perform on, and I stick to that. But I'm not afraid of a good little cheat day. You got to get the unhealthy stuff in there too, because the longer you set that stuff aside and stay away from it, the more it balls up and the bigger the crash out's going to be.
Yeah, that's very true.
And well, that's why I love it when you even see like your celebrities that are really into fitness and everything, and even they're posting, "This is my cheat meal," and it's like, and I wish people would realize, hey, you can have your cheat meals. You know, you still have to supplement it probably somewhere else, but it is okay if you want to have that. You have that pizza craving. It's okay to have your pizza.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I want to try something with pizza because I've watched through a couple times the series Change or Die. I'm a big DDP guy. This is his series, you know, helping people get in better shape. Butterbean, who was on the show, made a chicken crust pizza, and I'm just awful curious as to how that would work. So I've been meaning to look into it. I haven't yet, but it's on my list of things to do because that's got a high protein count, obviously being chicken based for the crust, and you can make it uber healthy without going overboard. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. And if anybody out there who's watching knows how to do this, send us the recipe because I'm anxious to find out.
Well, it's CZ. I can send you the one that I do where I make it in the sheet pan.
Okay.
The pizza that I done. It's all just one sheet pan.
That's not bad.
No, so you mix
What do you
a couple
do for it?
different. You mix like a couple different like flour ingredients, all like some Greek yogurt and some like milk or whatever for like the crust. Layer that out on a sheet pan. Put down your low fat cheese, turkey pepperoni, turkey sausage. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, I'm definitely send that over. I'm anxious to see what I can do with that. But, where to go next?
So Jack, for you, like, what are some of your favorite? I guess I know we talked about cheat meals, but what are some of like your favorite like healthy cake meals that you like to make?
I would say I'm not big on actual cooking, but I know like the healthier foods or whatever. It might be less on the healthy side. I don't know, but like peanut butter and honey sandwiches, real quick to make up, absolutely delicious. Things like a lot of dairy. I eat a lot of dairy if I'm being honest, like cottage cheese and yogurt almost every single day. Big like fruit. Any fruit's delicious. You can't go wrong with fruit.
Yep.
But no, it's pretty simple. Don't put me in the kitchen. It won't go well.
That's how I am now. I used to do a lot of cooking, but that was a different situation, different living environment that I was in. I don't do a lot now, just because of where I'm at. But no, it's something I wouldn't mind getting back into. It's not something that. What's a nice way to put this? The person that I live with likes to cook more than I do. Like, I'm sure she wouldn't mind. Like, I've made, I made something probably about 6-7 months ago, and I'm like, we'll have this for dinner. It's going to be my lunch for the week. And then she made something for dinner anyway, even though I'm like, I'm making this. Don't make anything. So that kind of was like, okay, I will only make stuff for myself if I make something. Jack, you mentioned, we've talked about judo. What other martial arts are you into? I know you mentioned Muay Thai. What do you gravitate towards?
It goes in spurts, like what I'm most interested in the moment. Recently, the last few months has been judo, of course, but I was on a big Muay Thai kick, no pun intended, I suppose, for a while. Just right out of college, that was my main art, Muay Thai. Always got a soft spot in my heart for amateur wrestling, but don't get much dedicated wrestling training like that anymore, unfortunately. But I was huge into boxing for a while too. Like a few months ago, I was gonna compete, but I didn't get cleared on my physical for whatever reason, so I could not. But I still plan to compete later on, just not in boxing.
Right.
How do you feel like for you having the amateur wrestling background for as long as you had it? How do you feel like that helped you transition into wrestling?
I think it helped me pick up moves quicker, just because wrestling, you're learning something new all the time. Amateur wrestling, and kind of helps the brain forward, and of course the physical aspect, like. Maybe not. I might not look super coordinated, but a little more like flexible or agile or whatever it is that helped transition to the ring too. Cardio, and some of the guys I was training with, they would say like during our practice matches or whatever, they would have good instincts that would react well, and I think amateur wrestling came into play there because a lot of that's just reacting. If you're standing out there thinking you're gonna get taken down and messed up on the ground, so I think just like reaction and so many parts of it transitioned over.
So
go ahead, Zach.
I was gonna say, as far as like your amateur wrestling, when you finally make that transition into training for, professional wrestling, what was it that for you that surprised you the most about getting into training for professional wrestling? Because I feel like a lot of times real athletes kind of get into this and going and just think, oh, this looks super easy. And then they get into it and they're like, and they don't even really last 1 or 2 weeks from all the stories that you hear because they realize how difficult it actually is. So how difficult did you feel like it was for you for when you finally transitioned into training?
I'd say not as much as the physical aspect. When I first started bumping it, especially where we trained in the WWE ring, it's more stiff than an independent ring, and I had bumped in no rings, so I'm like, that was a little bit of a shock. But the biggest thing for me was like being expressive with everything, and because amateur wrestling, you're just out there to do your job. You take the guy down, pin him, whatever, and then you move on. But pro wrestling, there's more of a show to it, so I got to be expressive with my face. I got to take the time and stop. And when you're competing again, you don't want to stop. You keep going, right? So it was the theatrical parts more so that was the hard stuff to transition over. That was usually my biggest critique in my matches was, be expressive, show something. You're just
Right.
going from one move to the next, and I still got a lot to work on. I think I'm getting better at it, but still a long way from where I should be.
So the ring that they use at Black and Brave, is it pretty much spot on with the ring that we see on WWE TV every week?
Yeah, like it's a ring they actually used to use.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many years it's been, but yeah, they got the hookup with an actual WWE ring. So,
well, I find it interesting that you say it's pretty stiff because I don't know how much of like early 90s wrestling that you used to watch, but you want to talk about a stiff wrestling ring, go and watch matches from the early 90s and you hear those guys hit the ring and it just sounds like they're hitting concrete on that damn ring back in the early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak back then. I've never been in one of those rings, but I know the Black and Brave ring is pretty stiff. It's built to be bumped on 5, 6, 7 days a week, whatever they need. So it took the wind out of me a little bit. I took that first bump. I'm like, oh, wow.
What was your first impression when you walked into the school? Because I know everybody says that when they walk into the school, they're kind of in awe of the place. I know they've made it a pretty nice school from what people have said.
Yeah, it was awesome. Walking in that front door, the ring's right there. I had no idea it was an actual WWE ring, and then the whole workout area, it's suited especially well for CrossFit.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I know JT Energy's really big into CrossFit too, and I think it's because of Black and Brave that he was always really big on the CrossFit kick.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth Rollins is widely known as CrossFit Jesus. So, Jack, I want to before I ask the next question, just going to plug the show a little bit more. You are watching Wrestling with Fitness with Zach Takis from Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I am the Wizard CZ of the Card Subject to Change podcast. We are sponsored by Lopez Pizza and broadcasting in the Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles digital studio. We have a comment here from Johnny Cass, which I'm going to give a cheap plug. He is on Card Subject to Change this Sunday to talk all about Dub City Wrestling and his wrestling career. Jack, I want to ask you, what does it mean to you to be a part of a debut promotion coming up next month?
It is awesome. It's so cool to be able to finally. I've only been in the game for like 2 years, but to finally be able to perform in my hometown that I still live in, it's gonna be amazing. Like, we're begging to have a show in Dubuque, and Johnny came along and he made it happen. So I'm thankful for that, and it's gonna be great. Gonna have a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. I'm just excited to perform for my people.
I'm gonna do my best to be up there for the show. I want to see the debut there. I know that some names that people are familiar with around here. Dominic Zagreus is going to be there. They've got Austin Aries coming in. That's really cool, but I'm excited to see what that promotion brings, but that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to give that cheap plug out to Johnny and mention that he's coming on the show and ask your thoughts on that. Jack, what was it like stepping in the ring for your first match?
Man, It was surreal. It was my debut match in front of a crowd was actually with someone I trained with, Mason Gray Skull.
Yep.
It was and it was awesome. It was kind of nerve-wracking. I had a lot of friends and family there, and just the whole experience, it was for homegrown wrestling in Stockton, Illinois, in this like tiny 12 by 12 ring. But it was I don't know, it was very independent wrestling in the best way possible, but it was just great. I was supposed to wrestle Connor Hopkins, but for whatever reason he couldn't make it, and like a day or two before they got Mason in there. It was just cool, familiar face, and got a whoop up on him a little bit, bit him in the forehead, but got the win. So that's what really matters here. But yeah, it was awesome.
Going in there with someone that you trained with, did that ease up on any nerves you may have had?
It did, actually. Just talking to someone I've seen almost like 4 days a week for the past 3 months, and he had a couple matches in front of crowds under his belt by that point. Super good. Went down to the gym and rolled around with him a little bit before leading up to the match, which his mistake. He gave me all his secrets away. So, but it was great though.
Did you experience any, I guess, big nerves before you went out for your first time in front of a big crowd? And how much of an adjustment too was it going from what I think is like a 20 by 20 ring to this dinky little 12 by 12 ring? What kind of adjustment was that like?
Oh yeah, it was interesting. You get less steps in there. You gotta watch out on your vertical suplexes. You don't want to go off the ropes there, but luckily, obviously I trained in the big ring, but I didn't have too much experience in anything else. So I guess it was not too unnatural, to say the least, I guess. But it was cool. I think I wrestled in that ring 1 or 2 more times after that, and it's just a little fun. I wore face paint for that match, the first and only time I've ever done that, and I apologize to Stumpy, but I got face paint all over his ring canvas.
Oh.
I was not prepared, but he was not upset about it. He was just giving me advice on the future if I wanted to keep wearing face paint. But I ditched that whole stuff anyways.
Yeah, I don't know that any promotion in Iowa is using 20 by 20. Because I think even at the SCW shows, don't they use one of the smaller rings? I don't think they bring the big boy with them, do they?
I think SCW's 16 by 16, if I had to guess.
That's the more common size you hear is 16.
Yeah. I knew it was either 16 or 18. I just couldn't remember which. I want to expand on you using face paint in your first match. What was the decision to utilize the face paint, and what was the decision to stop after that match?
Well, I thought it'd be really cool. A lot of cool wrestlers over the years have face paint, and I was kind of going for a different route for my character at first. Just like I have the Grim Reaper on my shoulder, listening to him, but he quieted up pretty quickly, and then afterwards, I kind of paranoid myself getting paint all over the canvas, and my very next match was for SCW. I'm like, I am not going to stain their canvas. So I just kind of ditched it, and a lot of people's wanted me to bring it back many times over the last couple of years, but I don't think it's coming back. I have a few other ideas, but I'm just too scared to use face paint.
Maybe it's one of those you bring out on a special occasion, like not necessarily in the guise of Demon Finn Balor, but bigger matches. Maybe you bring it out, something like that.
Yeah, I would. My girlfriend's a badass artist, and she did the face paint for me real well. And so, if she wanted to do it again, and we could get a face paint that is for sure not going to smear over the canvas, I would do it for a big match for sure.
Who are some of your inspirations as far as wrestling goes? Who do you watch? Who do you gravitate towards?
Well, growing up, I like the classics like Undertaker, but I was a huge Boogeyman fan. Thought he was really sick growing up. Bray Wyatt, of course, super cool. With the Fiend especially, but then more recently, as I started to get closer to actually starting to wrestle, guys like Kurt Angle, Chad Gable, Jason Jordan, Brock Lesnar, those guys, just because similar background, right? The amateur wrestling background or full-on martial arts for Brock Lesnar's case. And I'm no Brock Lesnar, but I can dream sometimes and take some stuff from him with the martial arts stuff. But Kurt Angle too, because not only was he really good in the ring and had the legit amateur wrestling background, but he could have the more expressive like comedy side to him and not take himself too serious all the time, but still get in there and whoop up on somebody. And especially with my most recent promos that I'd be cutting about satisfying myself, I kind of leaning more of that route too, with the, kind of comedy, but kind of like serious. I can get in there and go.
So go back to your comment about not being Brock Lesnar. You need to add the word yet, because you never know. Anything can happen in professional wrestling.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe if I found some special substances, I could be Brock Lesnar someday.
And especially too with your background in judo and even amateur wrestling, I mean, you could definitely pick up a similar moveset style.
Yeah. I like Lesnar's like match structure too. Like, maybe it's my short brain rotted attention span or something, but I like to just like get straight into the action if I can, instead of I'm not a big chain wrestling guy, me personally. So like if I can just get straight in there and start throwing hands, that's the kind of stuff I like, but it's not always gonna go that way, of course. I'm gonna be different sometimes, but yeah, I like his match structure a lot.
So how do you classify your wrestling style then? Technical, brawler, where do you put yourself?
Somewhat of a technical striker that can brawl, I suppose, because I got like good technique with my kicks and like my punches and stuff, but I also like just letting it fly, and they can let it fly back. Just whatever the situation calls for, but I do like to brawl sometimes.
Now, with training at Black and Brave, what kind of advice did those guys and their team give you, like nutrition-wise? Because obviously, looking the part is also a big part of professional wrestling. So what was some like advice, if any, that they kind of gave you guys on the nutrition aspect?
They didn't necessarily like sit us down and talk about nutrition. If they had the question, and if we had a question we could ask, especially when Seth was around. But Bruce Hamilton, he had graduated recently, and he was around the gym a lot at the time. And one day after class, he like took everyone over off to the whiteboard and just explained a lot of the basics with nutrition and stuff, and answered some questions. So nothing like integrated in the class really, but we could get some information if we wanted.
Russ Hamilton is a pretty cool dude. I'm glad you brought him up. What have you had the chance to be in the ring with him?
I have not had the chance to be in the ring with him yet.
I'm just curious because I can imagine that being a fantastic matchup between the two of you.
I would love to wrestle him someday if we could make it happen somewhere. It would be great. I think that match would be awesome. The
wrestling gods, are you listening?
Yeah, somebody out there should be listening.
Now, with everything else that you guys learned at Black and Brave, did they kind of talk to you guys at all about like a presence on social media? Because nowadays, a social media presence, whether guys want to do it or not, is actually kind of a big part, especially on the independent scene. Because I know promoters who, if they see you promoting somebody else's show, that promoter can say, hey, I like the way this person promotes the show that they're going to be on. I want that kind of exposure for my show. Did they give you guys any kind of advice for the social media landscape of pro wrestling?
They did a little bit in the sense of like don't post anything like overly offensive, like that's something right, yeah. That like the go home heat kind of stuff, like you don't want any of that. And then I'm a big, I don't even want to use the word, but I will, I'm a big kayfabe guy as much as you can be these days. So there's different opinions on that, but some people are like, do friends only stories on Instagram and keep everything wrestling. Some people don't care, but I like to keep it as real as possible, especially
Mhm.
in 2026.
Understandable.
It's amazing to me. So I do social media work for Central Empire Wrestling, and I work pretty closely with their promoter over there as well. And the one thing that amazes us from time to time is just the guys who don't even take like that 10 seconds to click the share button of the show that they're on. I'm like, if you guys just took 10 seconds to hit that little share button, you don't know who's gonna see it or where it's gonna reach. I mean, because the more people that we can get to the show, the more money you could probably make off your booking fee.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll follow off of that. One thing I've become a big proponent of, if I'm able to, is inviting our guests, whether it's here, whether it's on Cards of Change, to collaborate on Instagram, because that posts not only on our page, but it goes over to their page as well, and that just gets more eyes for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big proponent of social media being used to the advantage of promotions and wrestlers, because I don't think it's used enough with a lot of the modern talent that's out there today. You know, I look at a good friend of the show, JT Energy. He is, when he's active in wrestling, which I know he's on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but when he's active, he's cutting promos. He's promoting the shows he's on. He's making graphics for himself, for those he's working with. It's something we need to see more of, in my opinion. Just the use of social media to promote not only yourself, but where you're going to be. Because if someone sees that, oh, Jack's going to be at Dub City Wrestling and he's posting about it, I want to go see him there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas, like, if you're not promoting, you're not bringing in the butts to the seats.
Well, one thing that I would even recommend too, Jack, like I see people do this from time to time, and I wish more guys would. Beginning of the month, they post like a graphic and they have all their dates listed and they say where they're going to be at on the graphic. I think that's something simple that everybody can do. It's like, hey, and if you have an open date, hey, I'm open, isn't it? That might, trick a promoter, say, oh, hey, that person's open. Like, let's. Like those are the kind of things, me as even a fan and as a social media guy myself, I enjoy seeing.
Yeah. I could definitely do some more of that. I'm on and off with how much I'm promoting myself on social media, but like you said, JT's big on it. Eric Asnight's huge on it. He posts.
Yes.
I mean, he moved, so he wasn't in the ring very much, but when he was back here wrestling all the time, he was super active, posting all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Jared Thumbso is really good about posting promos for whatever match he has coming up too. Yeah. I know Jared Thumb's pretty big on it as well.
Yeah.
So with everybody that you guys have gotten to work with and meet at being a part of the Black and Brave Academy, who would you say have some of your favorite people that have come in that you guys have gotten to interact with?
I haven't been to any of the seminars since class has been over, but what I'm trying to think of what he went. I think he was Jordan Miles in WWE or ACH.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He was around for a little bit. He had that match in SCW. He was he was cool to be around. He had pretty good advice for our matches, but seminars wise, I have unfortunately not been able to make it to any of them since graduating. But
that's okay though. You're young. There's plenty of time. Let me ask you this: what is the best piece of advice so far that you have been given since you've come into wrestling?
Man, I'd say take like the real parts of you, and I'm sure everyone's heard this. Turn them up to 11, because if not, then you're kind of just being a phony. It's much harder to put a character out there when there's no truth to it. As like I'm taking stuff that's actually a part of me, and I might just be amping them up a little bit. Or I think how would I act if I was hanging out with a big group of my friends right now? It'd be pretty goofy. It'd be pretty silly. So that feeds into my promos. And my last match, I was kind of all over the place in the ring. Like just a little bit of wild, and that's how it actually be. So
That's great advice. And I mean, everybody knows I'm a certified wizard. I've got the certificate to prove it. So
exactly.
that's just who I am. I make magic happen. So and that's what you have to do. You know, if the most believable characters out there are the ones who have a dose of reality in what they do. And I think that's great advice. I think that's a great way to look at things.
Well, especially when talking about reality, CZ. I mean, you see a guy like Danhausen. That's pretty real. He uncursed the Knicks, and the Knicks are going to the NBA Finals.
That is so true.
So the curse is real, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
All the proof is right there.
And how wild is this? Like, he uncurses them, and they literally are making the NBA Finals. And the best part is ESPN can totally run with this.
Yes. Yes.
And it's just so amazing to watch him, especially for those of us that have watched him on the independent circuit, to see what he's done in just a short 3 months that he's been in the company.
Yeah.
And he's already like the number 2 merch seller with like 13 different pieces of merch over at the shop. And it's just like, it's funny because when he debuted too, everyone was just kind of like, just because of the way they debuted, they brought him out of a box. I mean,
but he was over. Everybody who comes out of a box is over. Everybody knows that. Jim Cornette told us that. Come on, man.
I mean, they probably could have brought him out of an egg like at the old Survivor Series back in the day. Hey, at least he didn't have a Shockmaster like entrance coming out of the box.
That's
good point.
Good. Shout out to Fred Ottman. No disrespect to the Shockmaster whatsoever. Jack, talk about this. Who do you want to face in the ring that you haven't yet?
Dion Roosman, no question.
I figured that was going to come up.
I want to wrestle him more than I want anything else in the world of professional wrestling. Like, it would be a dream match. There's 2 things I want from pro wrestling. Well, 3 things really, but 2 big things, and they both involve Dion. Of course, I want my match with him. But I would also love if it could somehow work out to be a tag team with him for a little while. I mean, I met Dion for the first time when I was, I think, 16, not even 16 years old yet. I might have been 16, and I'm 23 now. I'm gonna be 24 in July, and it was just a dream come true if I was able to wrestle Dion.
I'm gonna see what I can do to make that happen. I may know where we can make it happen. His work might not like it, but I'm gonna keep that secret. No, okay. I'm not.
Work some of that wizard magic for me.
Let's do a little bit of like quick fire rapid questions here. So you've already answered who your favorite wrestler is of all time. What's your favorite finishing move?
Probably the Tombstone.
Okay. What is the best promo in wrestling history? A lot of people would say, the Ric Flair 1992 Royal Rumble, or I know people love the Hot Times, Dusty Rhodes. Chris does the Dusty Rhodes much better than I can. Chris, do your Dusty because it's better than me.
Welcome to the mothership. This is Wrestling with Fitness. I am Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream.
So yeah, what's your favorite? What's the best promo that you've seen?
Can I go with my favorite promo?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, my favorite promo of all time is Kurt Angle trying to get Rey Mysterio out there and talking about how he's a man that likes to play with little boys. That's my favorite one of all time. It's great. That was a bit with us in me and this other guy in Black and Brave for a solid 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. What's a show that you can go back and watch on end?
Ooh. Like a TV show you're talking? Like any TV show?
Yeah. Wrestling wise.
Wrestling wise? Oh. Man. I don't know, to be honest. I'll say
just a match that you could watch over and over again.
Just a match. Put me on the spot.
That's what we do. Man. Hard questions.
quite a few NXT ones from like the takeovers like 6 years ago, but the first ever takeover match I watched that was great was that ladder match for the North American title.
Okay.
With like Ricochet and Lars and Adam Cole and all those guys in there.
Was that the first one?
Yeah,
Did you know the title?
Yeah.
Great match.
That was a great match.
I'm always a huge fan of Black and Gold NXT. I'm not discrediting NXT now, but Black and Gold felt so much like early 2000s Ring of Honor for me, which I loved that as well. But I've recently discovered that there are over 400 episodes of the old school NXT on YouTube. Go check it out. Search NXT on YouTube. You can find them. I just started rewatching, so I'm excited. I'll get to that match.
That's like when I had got back into wrestling, was when like Black and Gold was real hot. So it was a great reintroduction to wrestling for sure.
Who is the best tag team in NXT history, and why is it DIY?
You got me beat there.
Sorry, I had to give a shot. I'm a big Johnny Gargano fan. I had to.
I was a big Tommaso Ciampa guy.
Great guy, great wrestler, and their rivalry as well as their tag team is just stupendous.
Yeah.
What is your favorite wrestling theme song? Whose entrance song is your favorite?
I like the Fiend's theme.
Okay.
That was a pretty good theme song in my opinion.
What would you say has been, so far since you've been doing this, the most painful move that you've taken?
Painful. It was basically a variation of the Razor's Edge. I took that from Mason Beck, so that was a pretty good one.
Was that the show that I was at where you like damn near fell on your face?
Oh no! That was a different show, man. That one didn't really hurt. I know what you're talking about.
I'm surprised that didn't, because I came up to you after. I'm like, "Are you okay, dude?" Because that looked like it was bad.
Yeah, man. That honestly didn't hurt. I got my hands down a little bit, and I might have hit my face, but I hit them with my hands and kind of like scorpioned into it, nice and soft. So that wasn't too bad, actually.
That's good, at least. I'm trying to remember. I think it was earlier this year. May have been last year though. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, and I'm an old man, so my memory is
where
garbage.
I landed on my face. You mean?
Yeah.
That was I want to say around like August of last year.
Okay.
It was a triple threat with Malik and Trey Matthews.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that now. Whew, crazy.
Went up to DDT, both of them. They caught me and launched me. So,
if you could steal one wrestler, you'd steal a move from, and what would that move be?
Man, if I could pull it off, I would do one of those like 630 splashes or something that Ricochet's out there doing.
Okay.
What do you think is one of the most annoying wrestling cliches? Like, what's a wrestling cliche out there that you find super annoying?
The refs being frail little twigs, or maybe the entrance music hits and everyone's like, "Huh, is he gonna come out from there?" And he comes out from behind every single time. Maybe one of those.
If you have one, what's your favorite wrestling video game?
I played a lot of WWE 2K17.
Okay.
That was my first one. I had like one of those SmackDown versus Raw ones back in the on the PlayStation 2 when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I did not know how to properly play it, so I'd play against the CPU. I'd get thrown out of the ring and had no idea how to get back in, so I'd just get counted out every time. So not that one.
Do you, when you do play wrestling games, do you create yourself? Is Jack Reaper in the WWE universe in some way, shape, and form?
I did once a couple of years ago, but that's a lot of effort. I'm very picky with how I create characters, so I try to just skip it, because then I'll sit there for 3 hours. On top of the 4 hours, I tried setting up my universe mode. just to not play it at all.
What is your favorite wrestling finishing move?
I think I said the tombstone.
You did.
Okay.
You'd asked that earlier, Zach. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I asked that
remember.
one or not, so that's my bad.
Jack, what is the 5-year plan for Jack Reaper? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Man, I'd like to stick around here for a little while and keep wrestling and keep doing mixed martial arts. I had a fight last year that didn't go so hot. I'd like to fight again at some point this year. I think I'm gonna go back to school and try to increase my pay from where I'm at now, because I just want to keep improving, and I would like a job where I'm not so physically beat after the day, and then eventually move off to like Colorado or somewhere.
Okay.
And keep pro wrestling out there. Maybe come back once in a while for like a Rumble or something. But
what's the draw for Colorado? Just out of curiosity.
The lifestyle's perfect for me. I went out there on a trip for a week last year. We climbed a mountain, and I just like the lifestyle out there, being outdoors, hiking, all that, like big fitness lifestyle. And I just love the nature out there, and that fits my lifestyle perfectly.
Very cool.
Now, when you're traveling from show to show, are you doing coffee or energy drinks, or what's the drink of choice?
I get this, it's called the lit tea, and I get those like little like boba things in there, that like the popping ones, not the tapioca ones. And it's from this place called the Spot Nutrition in Dubuque, and it's been my go-to for like the last 3 years for all kinds of situations. But always get one of those lit teas before traveling out to like any show I go to.
All right. On that same guys, what's the road mix playlist look like? What are you listening to?
My girlfriend's always on the aux, so whatever she puts on, she plays really good music. Sometimes it might be Taylor Swift, it might sometimes be Beyonce, or like maybe Kendrick Lamar might be on there for a little bit. A wide range of music taste, but I can get down with anything in any situation except for country music. Country music is all right, like playing in the background if I'm outside talking to people not paying attention, but I'm not gonna put country music on my radio go for a drive. I would like to enjoy my time.
What is your favorite road trip snack?
Oh, I like Cheez-Its, Cheez-Its, or like those little like Ritz crackers with the peanut butter in them.
Oh yeah, yep.
Perfect.
Yep, those are good. So this next question is about championship belts. What would you say is the best title design? And actually, this can kind of go for all of us here, because title design is something I've always felt it's very important in wrestling. So I wanted to know, what's your favorite title design?
I really like the black and gold NXT title.
Yep, that's good. That was a good one.
A slept-on one might be the United States one current day.
Okay.
I think
I don't like
Wizards' two favorite there.
Nice, Chris.
I don't like gold.
Those are good titles.
Those are, I mean, yeah, mine's always going to be the Winged Eagle title from the 90s. That's just, in my opinion, yeah, it's, you're lucky I'm not there, because I would just steal it from you, and then I would just run away, knock you over the head with it and run away. Yeah, that'd be it.
There's so many good titles out there, though. I've got to give. I don't have it in here. It's in its little protective cover in my bedroom. But the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA title.
Oh
Huge
yeah,
title.
That's a great title too.
So, Jack, we're getting pretty close to the hour mark. We like to be respectful of everyone's time. Before we get you off the hook, though, 2 questions that we ask everybody. Where can people find you on social media if they want to follow you? And where can people find you in the ring in the coming weeks?
On social media, I'm at Jack Reaper Pro on all social, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I got a Facebook page out there, at Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and my all my upcoming shows are for SCW. My most recent next one is June 13th in Bluegrass, Iowa, but I was wrong. I got June 26th in Dubuque, Iowa for DCW.
Looking forward to that show, and I'm gonna try and make it out to SCW show on the 13th. I don't know what I'm doing that weekend quite yet, but on my list of things to do. So, Zach, any before we close out, any final thoughts that either of you have today?
Not really. I mean, everybody just, keep fighting the fight. I know it can be difficult. I mean, even I've had mornings where I've gotten up, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do it. But you still go and get it done. And for me, I feel like the podcast is a big part of the reason why I still keep going and getting it done, because I don't want both of us to be ones that fall off. You know what I mean? Like, I know, Chris, you said you've had your struggles, but I'm like, I can't let both of us fall off. So that's also kind of part of my motivation for me to always keep going.
Well, it's not motivation for you, it's dedication. Dedication is greater than motivation. Jack, any final thoughts for you?
I like what Zach said. I'm not afraid to take a rest day here and there. I was for the longest time, and then I'll just get burnt out. Eventually, I implemented every Wednesday I take a rest day, no matter what, and then I got my Saturdays and Sundays off, unless I got a show, of course. But I think, and when it comes to dieting, or I guess really anything, if you slip up, don't let that be the end of it, because if you got a big gallon of milk and you get a couple drops on the table, you're not going to pour the whole gallon of milk out on the table. You're going to finish pouring your glass, and you're going to clean the milk up and keep going. You're not just going to dump it all out. So
I like that. That's very well said. I like that. Anything coming up over on the shotgun side of things, Zach?
Not this week. Hopefully we'll be back with another episode next week. So yeah, nothing this week though.
I'll plug. We've got APW in Waterloo this weekend, and I'm doing another pre-show podcast party with them. And I get to sit down and have Badger Calhoun as my co-host. So I'm excited about that. I don't know Badger very well. I've seen him a lot at shows, but this will be fun. I think that'll be exciting. And then, as I mentioned, Jack is going to be at Dub City Wrestling this coming June, next month here, and we have Johnny Cass coming on Sunday on the Card Subject to Change podcast to talk all about that and his wrestling career. So tune in for both of those. For that is going to wrap things up on this episode of Wrestling with Fitness. So thank you all for tuning in. We are, of course, in the Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles studio, and sponsored proudly by Lopez Pizza. For my tag team partner, Mr. Zach Takis, for Jack Reaper, I am the Wizard CZ. We will see you next month with another accountability podcast right here on Wrestling with Fitness.
And we're desperately out of time.